Supervisor Chavez for the invitation to join as president today and be able to communicate with our community. I'm going to be real frank. We went back into session on Monday, and thank you so much. And our priority, because of the wildfires in Southern California, have created the evacuation of 250,000 people, with another 250,000 people advised that they need to be ready to leave at a moment's notice. The magnitude of that tragedy is that communities the size of the city of Fresno have been impacted. They have had to move animals, their kids, and all of the workforce that works in that area has been impacted. So we've been trying to deal with getting the resources to that area that we need in order to save lives. So this whole issue with immigration, quite frankly, was shocking and was not expected this early. So let me just say that we have been preparing in the legislature because we know what is coming. I want to first thank those individuals that have reached out to my office, communicating with us about what they're seeing and what they are concerned about, and the reality on the ground. Because the reality on the ground is very different than what the report is. And I want to thank Congressman Costa for his effort to contact the Border Patrol and to find out what it is they're doing and how they're doing it. Because it's quite surprising to have them up here. We're not within 100 miles of the border. And to have them doing enforcement is new to us. And it's what raised the level of concern in the community because it wasn't clear what they were doing. What we know is that farm workers have been taken into custody, loaded on to vans at gas station stores and also at random traffic stops. And we've been able to verify, because people called our office, we've been able to verify a lot of this information for us to know. Let me be clear. This is happening because federal law controls immigration, and I'm really happy to hear from the congressman that there's a bipartisan effort to try to solve some of the problems that we've had with our immigration policies, because you can make an application and be there for years without knowing if you're ever going to get a citizen or the ability to come to this country legally. And what we know is we have a great need for workers in our region. And so it has been clear for a long time that the incoming president of the United States intends to arrest and deport immigrants who do not have legal status. And he has basically said millions of people will be deported. We know that's going to happen. So we need the federal government to take action to create a pathway for citizenship. And that's going to be critically important. Now, none of us want to protect child molesters, rapists, and murderers. And that's the word that's come out of the Border Patrol, is that that's who they were looking for. They need to be jailed and deported. And we all want our communities to be safe. All of the families in our communities want our communities to be safe. However, the evidence that we have is that farm workers were targeted in areas where they buy food and lunch and where they shop with their families. The system to obtain legal status, as I said, is broken and has been for a long time. And these raids have created a devastating impact on our community. People are scared, they're not willing to go to work, yet they have bills to pay, and they pay taxes. And I'm deeply saddened by the raids taking place all over the valley. And it is not just Kern County. There are people that have been arrested in Fresno County as well. The pain and hardship that's been caused by this has been devastating. And it's created this sense of fear and danger in the community, and people are unwilling to leave their houses. It's unacceptable, and we need to stand together. And I think that's what you see here is an effort to let the community know that there are going to be resources. So let me tell you what we've been working on at the state level. As I said, the focus has been fires, but next week we will have a budget discussion. I believe the budget hearing is going to be on Tuesday in the Senate. And the budget intends, the budget bills that we'll be taking up provides $25 million for the Department of Justice, our California Department of Justice, the AG's office, resources to be able to determine how to protect cities and counties that are part of the sanctuary state declaration. What does that mean? California has declared ourselves a sanctuary state. And that means that no state resources will be used to detain, arrest, or to work with the federal immigration authorities. Can they come into our state and arrest and detain? Absolutely. But we don't want to use our state dollars. And we also don't want them using our local dollars, and we've asked our cities and counties to be sanctuary cities and counties as well, so that any action is a federal action, and they can really target going after the bad actors, those immigrants that have come here undocumented and that have hurt our communities by committing crimes. So that's $25 million. Apart from that, we have a bill that we will take up at the same time that'll provide $25 million for the nonprofits that provide immigration counseling and legal services. That will provide an opportunity for individuals to learn, what are my legal rights? What do I need to do? How can I go through a process that will protect me and my family? That's going to be critically important. We've done this in past years. We realize we're going to need to augment that effort because California has been made a target. So know that there are things happening. There will be more information coming out. We'll be working with our nonprofit partners who can do the Know Your Legal Rights series and help people. Folks, what we know is that most of our families that contribute to the economy, that pay their taxes, that buy homes here or have small businesses, they live in blended families where there are individuals that are undocumented and those that are U.S. citizens. It is critically important that we get the word out, that we understand, we're going to work together, and this is an opportunity as well for a call to action to say, look, we have people that live in the community that agree with us, farmers that are at risk of losing a lot of money because they depend on the workforce, who believe like we believe and who want to be helpful. We need to work together with them to be able to put pressure on our federal partners and ask that the immigration issue be resolved and that California not be a target. In particular, the Central Valley is not a target for immigration action. Being very clear about it, they were stopping vehicles, they were going specifically where farm workers shop, where they eat their lunch, and that's not looking out for criminals. If you picked up somebody, it's by accident, not because you knew what you were doing. We need to assure the community that we're all working on this together, and that we'll have more information and more resources for them in the future. So thank you very much to the supervisor and to everybody that's here as well.
Thank you, Senator. I think those words are very helpful to our community at the state level, at the federal level. I'll put on my county hat for a second. I was tracking a lot of these incidents that were occurring the last week or so. I immediately called our Sheriff, John Zidoni, and wanted to make sure that no county resources were being utilized for immigration enforcement. He confirmed that to me. I believe yesterday he put out a press statement, and that was part of this press conference as well. We wanted to make sure that everybody understood and were clear that local law enforcement are not going to be helping in immigration enforcement. And the reason for that is because I spoke with our sheriff and my colleagues about this. The number one thing that a resident has to have with their local government is trust. And if you do not have that trust, you will not be a partner. You will not come forward and report crimes. You will not come forward and be a witness, and you will not come forward to keep our community safe. I also want to point something that we've been tracking at the county level and at the school district level. The fear that exists now is 100% real. There are people that are now not going to be sending their children to school next week as Fresno Unified goes back to school next week. Third largest school district in the state of California. What does that mean? It means that if you don't have students in the classroom, you're not going to get funding. And that's just the way the formula works. That's going to hurt our community. Another thing that people don't contemplate right now, and I believe one of the community-based organizations will speak about this. This is the part that I think is difficult. There are parents right now making plans on what happens if one parent or two parents get caught up in these sweeps. What happens to those children? If those children end up in the county Department of Social Services system, now that's something that the county has to address. These are all unintended consequences to not being very specific and precise about who you're going after. And I want to echo those same sentiments that Congressman Costa and Senator Caballero made. We 100% support the arrest and prosecution of people that are hurting our own community. But what we're asking CBP, what we're asking our federal authorities is to be cognizant so that we don't have collateral damage, so that you don't pick up the mom that's going to work in the fields, so that you don't pick up the mom and dad that are going to work in a food processing plant or a packing house. That's not who we are. The fact that children right now are living in fear, I think, is what really breaks my heart. And that's the reason why we wanted to have this press conference to show that we support our community, we support our residents here, we support our kids from the federal level to the local level, and we're going to keep pushing that, because I agree with the comments that were said earlier. I think this is a prelude to what's about to come for the next couple of years. We have to be ready. I was very encouraged, and thank you, Senator Caballero, for that funding that is going to be appropriated. I think our community-based organizations do amazing work, oftentimes on a limited shoestring budget, and we need to support them in that effort. With that, I'd like to introduce my former colleague, Councilmember Nelson Esparza.